Alright, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. It has been forever since I've done a Splatoon tier list video. I don't even remember the last one I've done. Especially since I kind of took a break from Splatoon 2 for quite a while. We're back with Splatoon 3 though. Gonna hop right back into it with the tier list. It's gonna be a tier list for the pretty much the game's launch. I don't think we've had a patch yet. There's supposed to be a bug patch and like a fixes patch in like a week or two. But by the time you guys are seeing this, it's going to be pretty much just a launch patch. All the weapons we have right now off of launch, pretty much like the patch right now, pretty much with nothing really added. The only other new weapon we got was the Reflux 430 or 450 or 430, whatever it is. So if you guys like these tier list videos, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. I really appreciate it. If you guys want me to do more Splatoon videos as well, you guys got some ideas on what you guys want to see from me, let me know in the comments down below. Got a lot to talk about. I'm going to go in depth with this list, so let's get right into it. This is going to be a list like how I'm going to be doing this list, 100% opinionated. This is going to be mainly a ranked type list. This is what you're going to be wanting to use in ranked if you want to rank up. Yeah, it's going to have competitive, mainly solo queue. A lot of stuff will be better if you're stacking, obviously, but like mainly solo queue in mind for this list. And like that type of stuff for the weapons. It's going to be a list that takes into consideration all the game modes as well. If you guys don't know, we have 4 game modes: Clam Blitz, Splat Zones, Tower Control, and then Rainmaker. So I'm going to try to take into consideration all 4 of the ranked modes that we do have and how the weapon performs overall in all 4 of those modes. So keep that in mind. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you guys have your own list, if there's stuff I did not mention or forget, or if you guys want to put your own list in the comments, that would be really cool as well. I'll be responding and looking at all the comments. So let's get right into this. We're going to start off Sploosh. Got Ultra Stamp and I think Curling Bomb. Out of all the modes, I think Sploosh is garbage right now. I really do. Ultra Stamp, if you guys don't know, Ultra Stamp's probably the worst special in the game, at least right now. You die way too easily in it, and it just takes way too long to turn. And even if you want to throw the stamp, it's usually not that accurate, and it's really easy to avoid. So paints really well. If this was a Turf War tier list, I'd maybe put it higher, but I think I'm actually going to put a D tier. I don't think it's good at all. It's not good at all. There's just play anything else. Play anything else apart from Sploosh. Splattershot Jr. In the last game, it had Ink Armor. In Splatoon 2, it had Ink Armor. Now it has Big Bubbler and Splat Bomb. Not even nearly as good as it was in Splatoon 2, but not bad at all. Just a really easy-to-use weapon. That's pretty much what it is. I don't think the ult really fits that much. I really don't. I don't really care for Big Bubbler. A lot of people really like Big Bubbler as a special. I don't care for it at all. I like it more on like your support weapons or like your backline type weapons. I mean, I guess you can consider this like a support weapon with Big Bubbler, but it was just way better with Ink Armor. I think there's a few other ults in the game that would have been a lot better with, apart from Big Bubbler. I don't know. A tier though, not bad, not good, just kind of average. Neo Splash, I think it Burst Bomb, and I think it is Crab. Not bad. Nothing crazy about it, A tier. Nothing really crazy. Paints incredibly well. Okay damage. Crab ain't a bad ult. It's not crazy, but it's not really bad either. It's kind of just like an average special in the game right now. I put probably Neo in A tier, especially taking into consideration all the modes. Arrow Spray, I'm going to put it B tier. I think the one mode it's actually the best in is Splat Zones, just because it has Reef Glider. Reef Glider is pretty good just to take back zone, and you're pretty much guaranteed to at least take back zone with that ult if you pop it right on the zone. It depends on the map, like everything does, but I think apart from that, it's not really good in any mode. It lacks range, it lacks damage. It can paint really well, and it can spam ults and specials and stuff like that, but there's just so much other stuff you'd rather have for that type of weapon and what you want for that. Splattershot, I don't know. I think for a shooter, I think the Splattershot's crazy good. I really do. I think it's really good. A+ tier. Really easy to use, and it's just, I think it's way too easy to use. It really is. I wouldn't say it's really broken, But I do think like for a weapon that of like its caliber, like it has really solid range, does really solid damage, and overall it's just really good. It has Trizooka, and what else does it have? Trizooka and then Suction Bomb. So I have all the weapons and shit here for in case I forget what specials and everything they have. So because the game is still new, I haven't played like I mean I've played pretty much all the weapons, but I'm still not the highest level. So I don't have them like unlocked. So overall A+ tier though. Really solid most of your game modes. If you know what you're doing, just really easy to use, really straightforward weapon. You can't go wrong without picking the splatter shot. It's really good. 52 gal S tier. Crazy good right now. Killer Whale is great. It has great damage. It paints relatively well. And Splash Wall being on it as well is really good. Splash Wall and Killer Whale, really good ult. Really good ult and really good tactical that can actually help the weapon right now. Really good. I think it actually ended up getting nerfed because it's just really good right now. It's crazy good. You're seeing it in a lot of your games. It really is. If you want to rank up and you like playing the gal type weapons, 52 gal's crazy good right now. Probably the best one out of all of them. N-Zap 85 S tier. Paints incredibly well. You run like a clothes like gear setup to where you can just run like a bunch of ult charge. You have tacticoolers, incredibly fast, pretty much all game. Depending on how long the game goes as well. Like you can have easy like 10 specials in a game, depending on your build and how long the game goes. Incredibly good. It is one of the best like painting weapons / like support weapons right now in the game, especially for ranked. Tacticooler is great, and then I think it has Suction Bomb, which is really good as well. Overall, just everything you really want out of that type of weapon in the game right now. Really good. I don't know if it'll be getting nerfed. I think it's going to be one of those weapons that's a lot better on like coordinated teams if you're like stacking in ranked. It's really good in solo queue too, but it kind of comes down to whatever team comp you end up having, which is usually random, and then how your team plays. So it's not really as good in solo queue, but it still is crazy good if you know how to carry a team and you have at least somewhat of game awareness. Splattershot Pro. I think it's the Splattershot Pro right now. It's just like A tier. Kind of like the definition of like an average weapon. There's nothing crazy about it at all. It has Angle Shooter and Crab, which both are... Angle Shooter, I say, is probably one of the worst tacticals right now. It doesn't really do anything, and it's really difficult to actually get value from. And then Crab is just like, okay. You're kind of just picking it mainly for the weapon and mainly for the ult. And I don't really see it putting it much higher than A tier. Overall, though, like, it's just an average weapon. I wouldn't put it in, like, B tier or anything. I think it's A tier. Really solid. 96 scale, I'm going to put in A tier. If it had a higher fire rate, it would be crazy. It really would. It has Sprinkler, and I think it has Ink Vac. Let's check real quick. I think it has... Yeah, it has Ink Vac. Ink Vac is one of the best ults in the game, so... The only thing that's holding it back, like I say, is the fire rate. If it had a slightly little bit better fire rate and it painted a little bit better, I think it would be crazy good. It does really good damage and has really good range, but the RNG on it, with how bad the RNG is for like the gal weapons and the low fire rate it has, at least the fire rate for the 52 gal, you can kind of make up for that with how much shots you're putting out in about the same amount of time. That's just what's really holding it back. A tier though, still can be really good. If you know what you're doing, you can do really well with it. It's still a really solid weapon. Jet Squelcher is really good this game. It really is. It used to have I forgot which one it was. There was two variants of Splatoon 2. I think it had Stingray. I think one of them had Stingray, and I think Toxic Mist or Burst Bomb. I forgot which one it was. I think there was two variants. I forgot which one was which, but I think it had Stingray. They gave it Ink Vac, which is crazy good on this weapon. It is crazy, really good. And then I think they gave it Angle Shooter, which it ain't bad. Angle Shooter ain't bad, especially for like a more of a support weapon. It's pretty good because that's kind of the tacticals and stuff you kind of want to have on that type of weapon for like a long range, like mid to like backline anchor weapon, which it plays really well. Mainly because Ink Vac. Ink Vac is just so good on it and does really solid damage. It has a long range that you really want. Really solid pickup right now if you're looking for that type of weapon. Really solid. Luna Blaster, I think, is A tier. Nothing crazy about the Luna Blaster. It has Splat Bomb and Zipcaster. I think the one thing that really holds it back right now is just the range. If it had more range, like a lot of these other blasters, even some of the other stuff in the game, it would be a little bit better, but it doesn't. It's a close range blaster, and there's just a lot of better options right now when it comes to blasters. Speaking of blasters, we got the blaster. I'm going to put it at A tier. Out of all the modes, I think it's crazy good in tower control. It's really good in tower control. Rainmaker, it's average. Splat zones, it's kind of average. And then I like everything else, it's kind of average. But in tower control, it's really, really good. I think the only thing that's really holding it back is I think it's special. It doesn't really make sense having Big Bubbler on like a Slayer or like an incredibly aggressive type weapon. I'll never understand why they gave the blaster, which used to have Splashdown, and even Inkjet, the custom blaster had Inkjet in Splatoon 2. I'll never understand why they gave it Big Bubbler. Like, I've been playing the absolute shit out of the blaster, and it is my most played weapon and my favorite weapon in the game. I do the most. I rank up and I just stomp with the blaster. It's crazy good. At least I'm crazy good with it, and that's probably why. But I don't know. I don't really care for Big Bubbler. Like, so coming from like a blaster main like me, that my main weapon is the blaster. I don't really care for that special. Auto Bomb's okay. Like, I'm not complaining for Auto Bomb. It's actually pretty decent. But like, I just wish it had like any other special in the game. I think that's what kind of holding it back. I would have rather had like Inkjet or like anything else. Like, any other special in the game would have been better than Big Bubbler. Like, all you really do on like this type of weapon, like all I can really do with it and what I usually use it for is just to kind of block damage and then kind of hold down an area for a limited time and like throw it on a tower if it's in tower control, or like defend an area with it kind of. And then it could be better if you're like in a stack, like if you're playing with your friends and stuff, but like in solo queue, it's pretty much useless because nobody knows how to use it, and if they do try to use it, they don't know what they're doing. So I think the special kind of holds it back, but it's still really good. Range Blaster, I'm going to put in the A+ too. Still really good. It just comes down to what preference you really want. If you want the extra range but the less fire rate with the Range Blaster, I think it has a better ult and a better tactical than the blaster does, and I think can be better depending on how you play them and what your preference is. But I'm not saying the blaster's worse. I think it just comes down to whichever one you play better and whichever preference you have. They're both kind of the same. Otherwise, they're really good. Both are really solid right now, and they always have been. Hopefully, they stay the same. Clash Blaster is crazy good. I think it's really underrated. It's kind of a really slept-on weapon right now. Really, really good. It's really good in almost all the modes. I think the only thing it kind of struggles in is clams, because you kind of get shit on by a lot of the weapons and clams that just are able to move around a lot faster and either outrange you or like kind of get close in your face and kill you faster than you can kill them. That's the only thing that kind of struggles in that mode. But apart from that, it's crazy good on towers. It is pretty damn good on splat zones, especially with Triazuka and the Splat Bomb. Has a really good kit. It used to have Stingray. Stingray was 10 times better, but Triazuka ain't bad either, especially when you know how to use it. Rapid Blaster, I think we'll put that in A tier. Ink Mine, and I think it's, what is it, Tri-Strike, yeah, triple Ink Strike. I was going to say Triazuka, it's triple Ink Strike. I don't know. It's just kind of average right now. Like, if you want a medium range blaster, I mean, it's there, but you see it being played once in a while, but it's not crazy. It's kind of just there, average right now. Nothing crazy about Rapid Blaster at all. Rapid Blaster Pro, I think it's a little bit better as more of a support weapon. I think it's going to be a little bit better. I haven't seen it really being played, but I think the reason why nobody's really playing it is because people haven't really reached the level that you need for it to be unlocked yet. I've seen it played a couple times, and the times I do see it played, it does really well. But like I think the reason why is nobody has that high of a level right now where they can't get it unlocked from the shop. So as time goes on, we'll see more people playing. I do think it's going to be really good. I think it's better than the Rapid Blaster just because it has Ink Vac, and I think it has, is it Toxic Cloud? Yeah, Toxic Mist, which is a really good combo, incredibly good combo. So L3 Nozzle Nose, I don't know. I mean, it has Crab and Curling Bomb, which is, I think, is actually a downgrade from Splatoon 2. I really do. And the same with the H3. The H3 has Tacticooler, which is really good. But, like, apart from that, it doesn't really do anything. Point Sensor is okay. I think they're both, like, A tier right now. Nothing crazy about both of them. I think they were both better in Splatoon 2, if I'm being 100% real. They kind of got the short end of the stick in this game. Squeezer can be good. It just comes down to the player. And that, just because of that, I'm putting it at A tier. If you're a really good Squeezer player and you know how to actually play the weapon and you know how to throw it on your splash wall and do everything down to a T, it can be an incredibly good weapon. But it comes down to the player. If you're just like an average person playing it, you don't get much value, and it's kind of just an average weapon at that point. And it has Trizuga too, which is pretty good. Carbon Roller, I think it's A tier right now. Nothing crazy about it at all. I think it has what, Zipcaster and Auto Bomb, which ain't too bad. I do see it played once in a while, and when it is played, it does do really good. It does. You gotta run like more of like a zippy speed build with like movement speed, like swim speed, and like ninja squid and stuff like that. Make it work. Splat Roller average. Always has been an average weapon, and it comes down to the player. If you're an incredibly good player, you can make it work as like a Slayer type weapon, just kill everybody. If you don't know what you're doing, it'll be worse, but I think it's just average as like a weapon itself. Dynamo is really good right now. I think Dynamo is a really solid weapon, A+ tier. It has Tacticooler, and then I think it has Sprinkler, which is really good. The only thing that's really bad about it is it just flies through ink. So you have to have a build where you can save ink, like with Ink Saver Main or like Ink Recovery or something. If you don't have a build, which a lot of people right now don't have like actual like gear builds, fully built for weapons, you're really going to struggle because you need those on there to actually make it work. Otherwise, you're going to be constantly out of ink. Otherwise, apart from that, it's really good. It has Tacticooler, and it's able to just put down a bunch of ink, which is incredibly good. And it does a fuck ton of damage. It one-shots people. Foil Flings, I don't know. I think it's Ink Mine and Tendon Missiles really ain't the greatest. I'm going to put it at B tier. You don't see it really being played anymore. Or, like, even really. I mean, it could be underrated. Like, it could be an underrated weapon, don't get me wrong. But, like, I don't know. Don't really see a reason why you would play this over, like, a Dynamo or even, like, any of the other rollers. I don't understand why you would. All the other ones are better, and it's just kind of here. I mean, if you're good with it, it can work. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just overshadowed by a lot of the other ones. Got Ink Brush. B tier. Killer Whale and Splat Bomb, y'all. I don't know. I think it's just... I mean, it paints really well, but apart from that, it doesn't do anything. It's pretty damn good in Clam Blitz. Like, you can get away with it in Clam Blitz. Apart from that, I don't know. It's not really that good. There's a lot better options if you want, like, a painting type weapon and out of the brushes. I think if you want like an Octo Brush right now, like I would pick the Octo Brush, or like a brush right now. Over the Ink Brush, I'd pick the Octo Brush as what, Zipcaster and Suction Bomb. Way better. Way better. If you want an Ink Brush, A tier. Classic Squilfer. I think that they gave it, what was it? I think they gave it, it used to have Point Sensor. It has Point Sensor. I think one of them used to have Point Sensor in the last game too. It has Point Sensor and Big Bubbler, which are both really good on this type of weapon. A tier. Just kind of your middle of the pack type weapon. Nothing crazy right now. I think the snipers are really good, actually. I think snipers right now are actually really good. I'm going to put the Splat Charger and the Splatter Scope both at A+ tier. They both have Splat Bomb and Ink Vac, which are both really, really good. If you know what you're doing with the snipers right now and the Chargers, you can actually carry games. They're really, really good. Same with the E-Leader. The E-Leader has, I think, what is it? The Wave Breaker and Ink Mine, which are both really good. I'm going to put both of those at A+ tier as well. I think they can be really good. It comes down to the player. If you don't know what you're doing, you can't land shots for shit. Obviously, they're going to be garbage. But, like, average and above players, as long as you know what you're doing, at least somewhat, I think they work really well right now, and they're really good. Really good. Probably some of the best backline weapons. There's a few other ones that are really good, but, like, overall, like, the Chargers are pretty in a really solid spot right now. Bamboozler was way better in the last game. It's garbage. It's garbage now. I think it had a burst bomb, and I forgot what its special was in the last game, but took it away. What does it have now? I forgot what it has. Auto bomb and killer whale. Killer whale doesn't do anything for the weapon. It's garbage. The special makes no sense on it, and that's why it's garbage. YouTuber B tier. It has potential to work, but at the same time, it's more of a meme. There's just no reason to play it over a lot of other stuff, and just gets outshadowed by everything else in the game. If you're crazy, like cracked with the YouTuber, you can make it work, but I'm putting in B tier just because it's more of a meme pick than an actual viable pick. Slosher, A tier, nothing crazy. Same with the Tri-Slosher. Just average, nothing crazy right now. Triple Ink Strike and Splat Bomb. Tri-Slosher has Inkjet, which the one thing that the Tri-Slosher does have is that it is one of the only weapons in the game that actually does have Inkjet. I think there's only like one or two other weapons in the game that actually do have Inkjet for right now, which is probably the most limited special right now that we currently have, which is Inkjet. So that does give it a +1 up if you like playing Inkjet. It is a weapon that does have Inkjet on it, but apart from that, there's still nothing crazy about it. Sloshing Machine's crazy though. I'm putting Sloshing Machine at S tier. S tier for Sloshing Machine. Really, really good. Crazy damage. It has Fizzy Bomb and then has Booyah Bomb. Like the best tactical and special combo. Like one of the best ones in the game. It is crazy right now. If you guys aren't playing the Sloshing Machine, it's really, really good. Play the Sloshing Machine, please. It's really, really good. If you want to rank up, just play that. Crazy good. Blobber, A tier. Nothing crazy about it at all. Nothing with it's really changed from this last game to this game. I think the Squelchers is solid right now. I'm going to put that at an A tier, A+ tier. I think it has Ink Storm and I think it's Point Sensor. Yeah, Point Sensor, which ain't bad. It could have a better tactical, but like Point Sensor ain't bad for that type of weapon. Mini Splatling. I think it has, what is it, Ultra Stamp? Ultra Stamp Burst Bomb. Yeah, that's garbage. Putting that in D tier. First of all, Ultra Stamp doesn't make sense on this type of weapon, and then Burst Bomb doesn't make any sense either. I don't know. It was way better than last game. I think last game it was way better. I forgot what it had as a kit last game, but I don't think it was as bad as it would have had this time. Way worse than it was. Up next, Heavy Splatling. I think I'm going to put that in A tier. I mean, it has Sprinkler and Wave Breaker, which is really good, but I don't think there's really any reason to actually pick it. I think actually I'll put it up to A+ tier. I think you can. It is pretty solid. If you know what you're doing, it has a pretty solid kit right now. It is pretty good. Next, we got Hydra Splatling. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think it had Splashdown in Auto Bomb in the last game, and they gave it Booyah Bomb this game, which is really, really good for this type of weapon. So it did get improved, but at the same time, I don't think it's as good as a lot of other Splatlings, or like the Heavy Splatling at least. Putting it at A tier. It has potential. Like, if you're good with it, you can make it work, but it just kind of gets shit on by a lot of the other stuff right now. That's either can kind of close the gap and get right in your face and you can't do anything, or there's a lot of other like better options for like anchors or like backline type of weapons right now. Ballpoint Splatling is a crazy one because I think it is the only other weapon in the game I think that has Inkjet. I don't think there's any other ones that have Inkjet, at least that I know of off the top of my head, apart from the Tri-Slosher that has Inkjet. So it has a really limited special right now, at least currently in the game. I think it's actually A+ tier. I think people are actually kind of sleeping on the ballpoint. It is really underrated right now. At least for me, like it's the only like backline weapon I play, apart from like the Explosion once in a while. Like the only ones I can actually play are like the Explosion and the ballpoint that I actually enjoy playing. That are like anchor / backline type weapons. If you guys haven't played the ballpoint, give it a try. I think you guys are sleeping on it right now. It's a really underrated pick. Really good kit, and it's just overall a really solid weapon right now. Nautilus 47, A tier, just kind of average. You do have the versatility of being able to carry your charge under the ink and being able to swim with your charge for a short time over a lot of the other Splatlings, which is a really unique thing it has, but apart from that, it's nothing crazy. I think, what does it have? Inkstorm, Point Sensor. Kind of an kit. Dapple Dualies are really good right now, apart from that, I just wish they had a different... I wish they would have had, like, a different... either a different alt or, like, a different tactical. Like, it's good in... It's bad in splat zones. Like, they're pretty bad in splat zones because you have nothing to really take the zone. And you kind of have to rely on your team because your alt is pretty much a support alt with tacticooler, and then your tacticals is actually a squid beacon, which you can only use to get back into the fight. You have no way of really overtaking the zone unless you get like 1 or 2 kills by yourself and maybe try to pull it back that way, which is what it kind of lacks over a lot of the other dualies that right now. But like as in like tower control and like some of the other modes, it's incredibly good. I think it's the best mode it has right now is probably Clan Blitz. Probably the best one, but I think right now the Dapples are probably A+ tier. 100% A+ tier. Splat Dualies, A tier. It has Suction Bomb and Crab. Both kind of just your average to above average tactical and special. Not really bad at all. If you want to play the Splat Dualies, you can get away with them, but nothing crazy, just average. Gluga Dualies, they got the Splash Wall this patch for this game. Splash Wall and Booyah Bomb. I don't know. The one thing that's really holding them back, I just wish like a slight buff they would give the Gluga Dualies is just a slight fire rate buff. They just need a slight fire rate buff to actually make them good, and that's the only thing they're really lacking. The fire rate's too slow, and you just get out-traded by a lot of the other stuff that just does damage faster than you. And there's just really no reason of playing them when you have like Dapples, like the Dark Tetra Dualies, and even like the Squelchers in the game right now that are all better than you and can do your job way better. That's the real problem that they really have, but they're really fun to play. Just wish they were a lot better. Dualie Squelchers, Wave Breaker, and I think Splat Bomb is what they have. We'll check real quick. Yeah, Splat Bomb. Average. The one thing that the Dualie Squelchers really have that's holding them back is they just take a lot of ink. You have to have a gear build based around them. If you don't, they just go through a lot of ink, especially if you're trying to fight somebody. More than likely, you'll run out of ink, and then they won't, and you'll get killed that way if you don't have actual like gear build. Dark Tetra Dualies, crazy good. The best Dualies in the game right now, and probably like one of the best Slayer type weapons in the game right now. Crazy good. Crazy good special with Wave Breaker, and then the Auto Bomb is just complements that perfectly. Really, really solid right now. I think they're actually going to end up getting nerfed. I would not be surprised if they get like they're going to increase the alt point rate for the alt or something. Like they'll probably get some type of nerf with like the first or second patch we get so far for the game. You know, like in a few weeks. I don't know, incredibly good. If you guys want some Dualies that are kind of brain dead and just incredibly good, really easy to play, and incredibly good in all the modes, pick up the Dark Tetra Dualies. They're probably the best they've ever been. Ever since they even got added to the game back in Splatoon 2, like halfway through the game. The best they've ever been. Splat Brella, A tier. Nothing crazy about it at all. Tint Brella is actually pretty solid. I just don't see it being played enough. I'm going to put it A tier just because I think it's a solid weapon, but I don't see it played at all. It is pretty difficult to play if you don't know what you're doing as well, but it has Ink Vac, and I think it has Ink Vac and then Ink Mine, which are both pretty good. Or Squid Beacon, which is really good. So then you got Undercover. Undercover ain't bad. Like, I'm going to put it A tier just because it isn't really bad. There's just nothing crazy about it to make it worth going up into A tier, like anything below. If you want to run it, like, it's still pretty good, but I think it was better than in Splatoon 2. I think it had ink armor. Did the Undercover Umbrella have ink armor? I think it might have. I'm not sure what it had. Either that or it had Splashdown. I forgot which one it had. There was 2 variants to it as well, so I always get confused which variant there was, or like what the main one had. Now, this one's going to be a weird one because I don't actually have an icon for the Reflux 450, so I'm actually going to have to kind of talk about it on here and then just kind of give you guys where I would put it. The Reflux, if you guys know, is the one new weapon we got with the launch of the game, along with the Splatana Stamper. It's pretty much like a kind of like a Bamboozler, which it charges really fast, but in a way it does I think like 45 damage per arrow, or like per shot out of the 3 shots it does. But it doesn't explode like the tri arrow or the tri-string bow. So I don't know. If I were to put the Reflux 450, I would probably put it at like B tier. I don't see it being played nearly enough, and it's one of those weapons that's new to the game, so nobody really knows if it's good or not, and nobody knows really how to play it at all. So now the tri-string bow, the tri-stringer, yeah, I think is actually really good. I'm gonna put that in A+ tier. I've been seeing a lot of people do really well with it. I think it's one of those weapons, once people actually learn it, it's going to be really good. And it might actually be broken tier worthy once people learn how to play it. But I do think it has a lot of potential, and we're seeing it a lot being played a lot right now. If you guys want like a really cool, unique, new backline / anchor type weapon, pick up the tri-string. It is really, really good. As ink, I think it's Mist, and I think Killer Whale, which is both really, really good for the weapon. Splatoon Wiper is garbage. One of the worst new weapons we've gotten. It's garbage. Ultra Stamp, and I forgot whatever its tactical is. I don't even care. It's garbage. It's really bad. It's going to need to be buffed. I think it'll get better once they buff Ultra Stamp or like rework Ultra Stamp eventually, which they're probably going to end up doing. But until then, it's garbage. And then you got the Splatoon Stamper, which for a new weapon, it's okay, but I think I'm going to put it B tier just because nobody knows how to play it at all. It's pretty difficult to play, and you need to know how to play it down to a T to make it work. And in order to do that, you have to put a lot of time into the weapon and learn it like in and out, and like 100% like front to back. And it's just not gonna, like, your average person ain't gonna make it work. You're just gonna end up feeding and doing nothing the entire game. There's just a lot better stuff that's easier to play than just picking this up and playing it. So I think as time goes on, though, once people start learning how to play it, it does have potential. It can be really good. I think it does have some potential there, and some unique stuff that it does bring to the game. But as of right now, it's kind of there. Nobody's really playing it, and the people that are trying to play it are still kind of learning it, and they're not really that good yet. So I don't know. There you have it, y'all. There is the list for the launch of Splatoon 3. I'll keep updating these. Every time we get a balance patch, I'll throw up a new tier list for you guys. So if this tier list does well, leave a like and subscribe if you are new, and share the video so that the video does even more well, so I can keep bringing you guys these types of videos. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Let me know what you guys think in the tier list in the comments down below. Did I miss something? Did I not explain something? There's something you do not agree with? If you guys want to put your own list in the comments down below, feel free to. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for stopping by, y'all, and I'll see you guys in a future video.